Welcome to the C Files. Subscribe, give a thumbs up, and let's get right into this. I'm on limited time right now, folks. Kind of been busy lately, but rescue operations are still continuing in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina until they have been hindered by FEMA. FEMA is hindering operations in East Tennessee and North Carolina. FEMA is confiscating the supplies that are being sent for relief and locking them up. And the people that need them are not getting them. FEMA is hindering flight operations from bringing needed supplies to people and rescuing people out of bad situations. I'm going to just go ahead and hit the videos and let you guys watch, and I will read what I need to read. A man from North Carolina explains that he only had 17 minutes to leave after receiving the evacuation alert, but then it was already too late as fallen trees had blocked his way out. So let's listen to this.
Hey everybody, I just want to give you an update on here about where things are at with the hurricane. It's been really rough. I'm really tired. I'm really drained and exhausted. I only have cell service. I'm 11 miles from my house right now. I can only get here once a day max because I'm trying to conserve gas because there's no gas anywhere around. And they just cleared the landslide on the highway east of my house, so I'm able to get down the mountain. So today was the first day since Thursday that I've been able to get down to the mountain. We still have no power, no cell reception, no water since Thursday. And today's Tuesday, I don't know the date. The 1st? Is today the 1st or 2nd? And we're okay, we're survived. We are honestly like the lucky ones. Our lower level of our house did flood. We got as much of the water out as we can by hand. It's still really wet and damp. A tree fell on our house, a big oak tree, and water got in and it's leaked through the ceiling into our bathroom. But I put a tarp on the roof, so that's good. We've got as much water out as we can, but the house is so humid and mold is starting to grow on the doors and the cabinets and dishes and clothes and books. And so we're trying to clean those things and put them in trash bags, and it's hard to clean without water. We're doing everything we can to conserve. It's been really rough being so disconnected and not being able to know what's going on in the world or like the rest of the town. For a while I couldn't even get off my street because there was trees down, multiple, 4 or 5 trees down, huge trees on the street. And I know we're the lucky ones because I'm up on the mountain, so all the water that rushed through went down the mountain into the valleys and flood zones, and luckily we got flooded and we weren't even in a flood zone. And I know it's just like way worse for so many other people out there, and it's really scary. There's still some people that I haven't heard from. I don't know what's going on. I can't get certain places. I'm limited to how far we can travel. There's a curfew, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We can't be out past 7 p.m. because they need the roads to bring supplies in. There's helicopters all day, all night, circling and bringing supplies. They're just now giving us the numbers of how many people are dead, which is really hard to hear because they're people in our community and I don't know who they are. I don't know names. And I live up near the graveyard and they're starting to dig the graves up there, and it's just so surreal. The park that we go to is just gone. It's gone. There's nothing there. It's just a mud field. I'm still in so much shock. I can't even imagine a hurricane in the mountains. It doesn't make any sense. And we had a business downtown in Asheville. I think it's just flooded. We lost all of our inventory. Our antique place We don't even know, but they sent an email saying it's just gone. So I don't even know. We're just in survival mode. We're doing the best we can. We have enough supplies. We just got some supplies today. It's really cool to see the community come together. All of our neighbors have been so supportive and helpful. They've been bringing, people with trucks have been bringing water in and food in, and we've been able to, we have enough supplies and resources are coming in. They say it's going to be weeks until we get basic services back. It's going to take a long time just to get power to my road. Every single telephone pole is ripped in half, and like trees are on all the lines. It's going to take, that's just my street. Like it's going to take so long to fix all of this. Yesterday at a town hall meeting, they told us weeks to get power back, and we're almost at a week now, and months to clean all this up, to get back to normal. I don't know what we're gonna do without, I don't know. And I know people have it way worse, and this isn't me trying to like detract from them. This is just my own personal experience. This is just what I'm going through from my vantage point, and I'm like, I have a very small vantage point because I'm stuck on this mountain, like so disconnected, and I just know it's way worse. I have a little radio and they're telling me, you can't drive here, you can't drive here, don't drive at all. During the middle of the storm, it was so scary. We're downstairs and standing in water. Trees are falling on the roof. We didn't want to be on the second floor because trees are falling on the roof. Multiple big trees on our property fell, and so we're downstairs in the water, and then we're getting the alert on our phone that the reservoir dam was breached, and we had to evacuate or we were gonna die. Like that's what the message said. Like, leave now. This is life-threatening, because the reservoir is right above our house, and we're down the mountain, and then we're halfway down the mountain. The reservoir is closer to the top, and it was gonna come down, and then but we couldn't get out of our street because trees were down, and at the base of the mountain was flooded, so we were stuck. And we had 17 minutes between the alert that said evacuate, mandatory evacuation, evacuate now, and then shelter in place, seek highest ground. We had 17 minutes to leave, and we couldn't, and there was nowhere to go, so we had to stay. And it was so scary. It was so scary. And we are like the luckiest ones in this whole thing. Like, I don't even know how we got away with so little damage, all things considered. And it's just a mess. I don't know. I can't even believe like this is going to change the course of this region forever. Nothing like this has ever happened ever in the history of Western North Carolina. I have to get to Asheville to check in, but I can't get there right now, and I don't know. I just know that everything's underwater, and so I have to conserve power and everything, so I can't make a lot of updates. I'm not taking a lot of photos because I have to keep my phone off because I have no way to charge it except in my car, but I want to conserve gas in case we have to leave, because they also told us if you can leave, please leave. So there's less stress on the resources here. But they told us the only way out of the county is to go south through South Carolina, which is not the direction I need to go. I don't know anybody down there. It's and I'm sure you've seen stuff out there in the world. I haven't seen anything really other than a quick check-in. I just use my phone to check in and give updates, and then I shut it all back down. So I'm still in shock, and I'm scared to look at all the damage. So this is gonna be a long, hard road for a lot of people here, but thank you so much for the support, because I know so many people are volunteering and sending money and funds and resources and supplies, and thank you so much. We see it, we appreciate it, and that's all I can give right now. Hopefully this video can upload, and I'll update more when I can. But thank you, everybody. I love you. And I'll talk to you soon, I guess.
Folks, that's the real people putting out real information. Let's go to the next one. All right. This gentleman is
on our.
Here we go.
Everybody.
He's going to tell you what's happening with FEMA and flight operations. So here we go.
Santilli here. Company. I'm actually recording this. I'm going to post this up on our LFA TV channel. I've got an important update for you here. It's about 10 minutes after 2 or 14:09, as they say. Get ready to go down. We're doing show prep here in the bunker. Get ready to do the show coming up at 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock Eastern time. Be sure to tune in. I have important updates coming to you out of North Carolina. Flood of information, and I'm going to tell you, it's kind of disturbing as I bring it to you, and I'm going to have a more detailed report at 4 o'clock. So make sure you follow, get those notifications, and we'll let you know when we go live. Hurricane relief efforts right now, major challenges because of FEMA. FEMA's intentional intervention. This is what's going on. Now, there's only a civilian presence. The majority of the relief efforts are happening by civilians that are delivering supplies, doing rescues, all that stuff. Civilians everywhere. The civilian helicopters, civilians on the ground, and any law enforcement encounters per FEMA are that people are getting threatened with arrest. Can't deliver supplies, can't help your family members out, and they're confiscating supplies, ladies and gentlemen. If you're making deliveries to the municipal areas, if you're delivering to pre-staging areas, that material, those supplies are being confiscated.
All right, threatened with arrest. I got to say this. And what jail are you going to take me to? Your jail's probably underwater. And so if you put the handcuffs on me, where are you going to take me? Folks, you got to shove back. You got to shove back and come in mass numbers. And when they try to stop you, just go, officer, I want to keep you safe. I want to keep your family safe. So please don't get in our way. We're coming through. See the 50 pickup trucks behind me? We're all coming through. You want to try to arrest us all? You want to try to pull all of us over? You go right ahead. You can chase us all the way up the mountain. That's how it has to happen, folks. They're hindering rescue operations. Now, I'm pro law enforcement. I have a family member in law enforcement. I was in law enforcement for 30 years. But you know what? I guarantee you right now, they'd have to fire me because I would tell FEMA, pack up and go home. I'm not listening to you. Especially a county sheriff. I'm not listening to you. These people want to go up the mountain, they're going up the mountain. When I was a cop in California and they shut everything down for COVID and all that, and the people had to wear masks, and I did not enforce any of that stuff, folks. I would drive by and wave and say hi to people, even while they were violating the COVID mandates, and ask them if they needed anything. And then they would smile and say hi back, and then I would drive on. Because you know what? That's tyranny. And I don't enforce tyranny. Let's keep going.
And this is absolutely confirmed. And I'm gonna give you a workaround to that. Stay away from the FEMA areas, number one. Number two, do not make any deliveries outside of a church. They're not confiscating church supplies, okay? Deliver to churches, all right? Do not bring to municipal areas. Do not bring it to schools. They will be confiscated. FEMA is advising that any financial donations need to go to them. Can you imagine that? Donations, they're directing to them. This is crazy. This is part of what we know a regime that's funneling hundreds of billions of dollars to the Ukrainians. They're deploying troops, but they want you. They've run out of money, so they want you. I'm hearing the state of North Carolina DOT, major companies that work with the DOT are saying they're out of money. We're very, very sorry. We'll, accommodate you however we can. Relief efforts are being just about donated. So FEMA has jurisdiction in Asheville, Black Mountain, and Boone. Okay, stay away from there. They're reportedly confiscating supplies there. Churches are currently safe from confiscation. Schools and municipalities, as set drop-off points, are being targeted for confiscation. Do not bring them there. We are going to, we're going to be delivering supplies. I'm actually waiting on word as to when to head down there. We're going to be recording. A whole bunch of people are going down. And by the way, if you do go down there, I strongly suggest that if you can constitutionally, legally, appropriately, you need to be armed if you're delivering massive supplies, okay? We are now in a danger zone where people are very, very desperate. So you just need to make sure you protect yourself, protect the supplies, make sure it gets to the appropriate people. And even those people that are very, very desperate, they're going to do desperate things. So make sure you are heavily armed, okay? For your protection of supplies, and of course for the security and safety of everybody around us, including law enforcement, so on and so forth, okay? Do the appropriate thing if you're trained and lawfully authorized to do so, all right? Airspace restrictions right now, hampering relief efforts. I got word from a pilot, Josh Yoder. I'll be meeting up with him. He is head of the Freedom Flyers, coordinating all the pilots coming in. Airspace is shut down. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, get this, Joe Biden is doing a flyover. They've shut down airspace so that Joe Biden can do a flyover. Absolutely ridiculous. It has stopped relief efforts in the air. As of right now, I'm bringing this to you right at 2:15. We'll have a more detailed report on LFA TV. Make sure you give us a follow and make sure you set those alerts, because we're going to be bringing you a flood of information. We'll talk to you 4 o'clock Eastern time on LFA TV, and you can tune into us anytime. Ryan Matta, I'm sure, delivering vital news as he always does. He's on live right now. We'll see you then, folks. Bye.
All right. So there's an update. That's a good update, folks. I'm going to keep these coming. I am not backing off on this because, folks, these are real people suffering. Okay, let me go back and remind everyone. Katrina, New Orleans, that's where it began under the Bush administration. We had the fires in Maui. What did FEMA do? Hinder operations. What did the government do? Offer crumbs from the billion-dollar table to the people of Maui. Let's never forget this, folks. Paradise, California. A good friend of mine was a police officer in Paradise. He retired from Paradise PD. His home was in Paradise. He lost everything when those fires came through. What did they get offered to them? Crumbs from the billion-dollar table of the government. And who was it that hindered operations? Oh, yes, it was the government. And now, East Tennessee and Western North Carolina. Who is it that's hindering rescues and confiscating supplies? Oh, yes, it's the government. Next video.
Guys, I am not a big fan of videos, and this is completely unscripted, but this is something very important for all of St. Pete, all Pinellas County, probably all of Florida, because there are other areas that were impacted by the storm. This is seriously something I need you guys to watch and definitely share. I don't know if you can share a Facebook Live thing, but this is important information about what's going on from the storm and how FEMA's gotten involved. So, as you know, I own a fleet of dump trailers, and I rent them out to people. Well, they've been insanely busy, and the line at the landfill has been 2 to 3 hours long. Well, yesterday we were informed that the landfill was no longer going to be accepting storm debris. We all said, what the hell? What kind of sense does that make? So they said that FEMA was going to be setting up free dump zones and that we'd go and empty our loads there. So I said, okay, that's great. We won't have to charge the client a dump fee. We can hopefully have a higher turnover rate and help more people. All's good. They said that information was supposed to be released last night on some of the city's websites. Well, I went to St. Pete's website. I went to Pinellas County website. I went to the dumps website. Nothing was there. I went to FEMA's website. Nothing was there. And this morning, I said, okay, well, maybe they didn't get it set up in time, and we need to still go to the landfill. So 4:30, got up, hooked up some trailers, headed to the landfill. They had a sheriff there turning people away and saying, you cannot dump here. And I said, well, where am I supposed to go? And he said, there's no information online. I said, go online, find the FEMA website. I said, you pull out your phone, you show me where it is. And they started going through it, and then they said, you got to get out of here. You're obstructing traffic, and you can either leave right now or you can leave in the back of the sheriff car. So I pulled away. I went to what's called a transfer station. It's much more expensive. It's a fee that has to be passed on to the client. Otherwise, I would literally be operating at a loss. And they said that FEMA has come in and shut down the landfill, shut down the waste management's transfer station, and we were not allowed to dump there, and we had to go to these FEMA sites. I said, well, where are these FEMA sites? No one can tell us. And they still didn't have the information. So I decided to call one of the biggest companies in the area, definitely a competitor. And I said, look, I'm a smaller business, and I'm curious, do you guys know where we're supposed to empty the storm debris? And I apparently got on the phone with someone pretty high up in the company. I don't know if it was the owner or the owner's son, but he was really well informed, pretty pissed off about the situation. He started to laugh and said, yeah, there's 3 dump sites set up by FEMA, and they're for resident use only. You cannot go in there with a commercial grade truck. You cannot go in there with a commercial grade trailer. You can't go in there with anything with any lettering on it. And they had asked them, well, what do you suggest that we do with the thousands of bins that we have rented out, full of trash, ready to go to the landfill right now? And they said, dump it back in the people's driveways. FEMA will get around to cleaning up on our own. So he said, what do you mean FEMA's going to clean up? They said, over the course of the next year, FEMA will be picking up all the trash. So in the meantime, over the course of the next year, and this is from personal eyewitness thing, as I was dropping off dump trailers, within 2 days, there's mold inside people's homes. That mold doesn't stop growing just because you take the trash out and you put it at the road. It's going to be growing at the road. Today, when I was driving through Shore Acres down Overlook Drive and Shore Acres Boulevard, there are dozens of rats hopping from pile to pile. It is an absolute breeding ground. And they want all that stuff to sit there for a year while they clean up. We got all the stuff picked up. It's in bins. We're ready to go to the landfill, and they're refusing us at the landfill, and they're suggesting that we take this stuff back and dump it in your yards. We need you to call the city, call the mayor, call FEMA, call the Pinellas County landfill, call Governor Ron DeSantis, speak up. Otherwise, we're going to be staring at this trash for over a year. That's insane. This isn't about making money. I dropped my prices to help people out. I just want to get St. Pete cleaned back up, and they want it to stay a shit show. I mean, I really hate to come on here and be acting like conspiracy theorists, but I remember when Katrina happened and people were talking about concentration camps being set up in New Orleans by FEMA. I thought that was crazy. Then we heard about Hawaii getting burned, and because of X and social media, people were actually able to hop on and show what was going on. We saw FEMA step in and do jack crap. I don't know, but we all need to stand up and voice ourselves to get St. Pete cleaned up. Otherwise, we're going to be dealing with a mess for a really long time. So share this video, share the knowledge, call your local officials, call the governor. Pinellas County is a shit show. We need to get it cleaned up. I don't know how to end this thing now, so it might take me a minute.
Now, folks, I'm sorry. I forgot to warn about the language. I forgot that there was language in this video. I normally don't allow language on my channel, or the foul language. But, folks, today, I don't care. Because people are dying up in those mountains. And these folks are putting out useful information. And people are suffering in Florida too, as you can see. My suggestion is take it to the nearest FEMA operations center and dump the trash there. Those 100 bins, we'll just pick them up, take them and dump them at FEMA. And then, it makes it even more convenient they can clean it up there because, look, they don't even have to go out to the houses and clean it up. They don't have to drive out there. It's right there, convenient for them to clean up. Just dump it right there. All right, folks, I'm going to have to leave it here. I'm running out of time. I gotta get rolling again. If it were not for my health restrictions right now, and family needs that I need to be here to help take care of family. And I have an operation coming up, which I can't miss. If it was not for that, I would have already hopped in a pickup truck and headed out there. And I would have been out there at a church somewhere, helping out with supplies, and if necessary, jumping in a truck and delivering it to people in need. In a heartbeat. But God has seen fit for me to stay here, and I don't want to be I don't want to be I was going to say asset, but I'm a liability. And if I went out there, I would be a liability and not an asset. But if you can be an asset and you've got the ability and the time to go out and help out, go. And don't let FEMA or the government or anybody else boss you around. And we're going to continue to expose this tyranny on this channel. When I worked the Cedar fires, we would block off areas and keep people out of areas. Why? Because the fire was coming over the mountain and was getting ready to hit that area, and we didn't want them driving in and being killed. That's a legitimate use of law enforcement in a disaster situation. An illegitimate use is hindering operations to get people out and rescue them. If there were people in there, we would go get them. And if they refused to leave, they wanted to stay and protect their house, we would let them do that. But if they wanted to get out, we would provide a way to get them out. I remember one house, he had a big tanker truck full of water. And he was going to use that tanker truck to fight that fire if it came on his property. People can be very, very resourceful when they need to be. And I was not going to hinder that guy. If he wanted to stay on his property and protect his property, even though it was a mandatory, quote, mandatory, end quote, evacuation, because they knew the fire was coming that direction, constitutionally and legally, we could not force somebody off of their land. Now, what happens when FEMA comes in? I'll tell you exactly what's happening. FEMA is coming in and setting up martial law. That is what you're seeing. They are setting up martial law in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina. I'm going to be, when I get first opportunity, I'm going to be calling my representatives, and I'm going to call FEMA. You know what I'm going to tell FEMA? Pack your bags and go home. Get up out of here, because you're hindering operations, and people are dying because of you. Now, I understand having a command post. I understand having a government operation, an emergency management response operation, where you've got to coordinate all of the different agencies coming in to help work that disaster. That is a legitimate use of a command center, okay? That is what should be happening. And what they should be doing is forming plans and get, to be able to get up into those mountains and help those people and rescue them. But that's not what they're doing, folks. Look, I've been in those briefings. I've worked mutual aid in a natural disaster as a law enforcement officer. I've been in the briefings. I know what is supposed to happen. But when FEMA shows up, Here comes martial law, and what should be happening goes the opposite direction. All right, I'm done. I got to get going. Keep these folks in prayer. And if you can help, help. But right now, I could care less what's happening in Israel. I could care less what's happening in Ukraine. I could care less about some campaign stop by some candidate. I could care less about any of that stuff right now. Right now, my focus is on exposing the government corruption in disaster response and getting help to those people. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on the C-Files.